Over the past couple of weeks, we've been working on getting to know our characters, right? So we learned different strategies as to how to get to know our characters. So who remembers a couple of the strategies that we've learned? Let's see, Tommy?
Like feelings.
Feelings, getting to know characters' feelings is one, yeah? Hold on. Let's see, how's it quiet? Jaden?
To know their names.
Know their names, yeah? Getting to know their names is also important. Getting to know characters. So feelings is one. Names. Cool. Who else has a strategy? Noah?
How the character acts.
How they act. That's a good one. Act. Nikki? Inner thinking, yes, very important also. Inner thinking. What else? Annie?
Traits.
Traits. Nice. Cool. Who else?
The character sees.
What they see? Oh, what they say. Yeah. So dialogue is one. Yeah. Dialogue or what they say. All right. Let's take one more. Ezra? Background? Yeah, background's also important. All right. Cool. So today we're going to learn, hold on, background. So today we're going to learn about one more strategy that we can use to get to know our characters better. And that is to learn about their motivation. Yeah? And we're going to think about why characters do certain things. Yeah? So, we read Those Shoes, right? Remember reading Those Shoes? Yeah? So who could tell me what happened in the book? In the beginning, at least. Isabel?
He really wanted the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't get them. And when he got them, they were too small, so he had to give them away.
Yeah, so you gave us a lot of info. So he really wanted these shoes, but he couldn't get them. When he finally got them, he had to give it away. Yeah, so what do we know about, who remembers what the character's name was? Who remembers the name? Cosette? Jeremy? Nice. What else? Is there any traits that we know about him? Gabe?
Sad.
He was sad, and why was he sad?
Because he couldn't get the shoes.
Yeah, he was sad.
He was jealous.
He was sad and jealous because he couldn't get the shoes. Who else? Who hasn't said anything? Yunsa? Who's disappointed? Oh, that's a good word. Adam?
He was shocked
Shocked? Shocked why?
that all of his classmates had it.
Yeah, so he was shocked that everyone else had it, as you can see in the cover. Kane?
Happy.
Happy?
Like when he got it, but before he tried them on.
Yeah. Oh, so he was happy when he finally got them, yeah? Cool. So then let's focus in on that part where he finally does get it, yeah? So let's see. Let's turn to that page. So we see here, who remembers the thrift store part? Jordan?
They feel too tight.
Yeah. And we see that even though it was too tight, he still tried to put it on, right? And so for me, I'm thinking his motivation was he really wanted to try on those shoes. He really wanted those shoes, so he tried everything to squeeze his feet in, right? So it helps me understand Jeremy a little bit more, right? Does that make sense? Yeah? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Yeah? About half the class? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. All right, cool. So I get him. I see that he really, really wants those shoes, so he tried everything to squeeze them in, right? Okay, so next we're gonna read over the book again, just the second part, and then I want you to think about another question. We talked about how Jeremy gave the shoes away to Antonio, right? Yeah. So as I read, I want you to think about why you think Jeremy gave those shoes to Antonio, yeah? So try to think about why he gave it to him. All right. So I'm going to skip to that part. Okay. So I check every day, but those shoes don't stretch. I have to wear my Mr. Alfie's to school instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up, and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio was there, the only kid who didn't laugh at Mr. Alfie's shoes. Cool. So we see the picture of Antonio with his taped up shoe. And here we see him looking really sad. We shoot baskets. A loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoe smacks the concrete every time he jumps. I think, I'm not doing it. We leap off the swings. I'm not gonna do it. We race from one end to the playground to the other. I'm not gonna do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. Cool. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over too. After supper, he spies my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing those shoes were his. That night, I am awake for a long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Snow is beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door, push the doorbell, and run. You can see he dropped off the shoes and he's running away. At school, Antonio is smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face and mad when I look at my Mr. Alfie shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere, there is snow. Leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots, the teacher announces. Leave your shoes in the hall? It's then I remember that I have what I have in my backpack. New boots, new black boots that no kid has ever worn. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, "Thanks." I smile and give him a nudge. Let's race. So here they're having fun. Okay, cool. So then now you're gonna think, why did Jeremy give the shoes to Antonio? So let's go and turn and talk to your partner and share why you think. Are you cold? I'm just gonna close it a little bit. So what are you thinking?
Charlie says she has no idea.
You don't know why? Why? What are you thinking? I mean, what are some clues in the text? I mean, in the book that we think? Why do you think Jeremy gave the shoes to Antonio?
Because he felt bad that he felt that he needed shoes, that Antonio needed better shoes, and he needs it more than he needed those shoes.
Yeah, Antonio, you think Antonio needs it more? So he felt bad?
Probably he doesn't have enough money to buy new shoes.
You think he doesn't have enough money? Yeah? Yeah, that's probably true. Cool, keep talking. What are you guys thinking? He wanted to make his friend happy?
And like he knew
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. All right. Cool. So let's get back together in 3, 2, and 1. Cool. So what are we thinking? Why do you think Jeremy gave the shoes to Antonio? Let's see, who hasn't spoken yet? Zoe?
because he felt bad and he wanted the shoes to be more useful.
Yeah.
So someone can actually use.
Yeah, that's a good point. He probably felt bad for Antonio, and he wasn't even using it, so at least the shoes are in good use. Yeah? Let's see who else hasn't thought. Paloma?
So like he gave it to his friend because he already has shoes, and like his other friend doesn't even have shoes because like he has tape on his foot, and so like he already has shoes, and those other shoes are not useful because they hurt his foot, and his friend's foot is smaller. So then he wanted to give it to him because he already has shoes, and the other shoes wouldn't make him run good, or he wouldn't wear those shoes because they hurt his foot.
Yeah. So you make a good point. He already has shoes, so why is he gonna keep it, right? And then the other guy, his shoes are all falling apart, so might as well give it. Let's see, Vier?
Because he because he wanted to give it because it was his friend, and he wanted to give it because they won't be used anymore because it's already winter. So you can just buy them in summer.
Yeah. So you're kind of talking about the same thing as Zoe and Paloma. Yeah, it's not being used, and also it's his friend, so it's like, yeah, it's nice to give him his shoes. We'll take one more. Okay.
Anthony needed, Antonio, he needed shoes.
You make a good point. Yeah.
He needed shoes, and since Jeremy wasn't using his shoes, the other shoes, then he didn't need them.
Yeah.
So he did, and so he did.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. So Antonio really needed them because it was falling apart. Yeah. So nice. Good responses. Thank you, everyone. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna fill this out. You're gonna talk about why Jeremy gave his shoes to Antonio, and then next you're going to write about your own. You're gonna, with the books that you're reading right now, you're gonna talk about what book are you reading, who's the main character, what are they doing, and then why you think they're doing whatever they're doing. Yeah? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool. So who can explain again what the directions are?
So,
Annie?
on the paper, on the top part, you write those shoes. Why did Jeremy give his shoes to Antonio? His very favorite shoes. And the bottom part, you write the book title, the main character, and everything. And then you draw a picture of your character or the title of the book. And then you write about what the